The possibility of the Philippines acquiring a next-generation fighter like South Korea's KF-21 Boramae has shifted from a speculative idea to a serious strategic discussion. Manila has long faced the limitations of a small, aging air fleet built around light combat aircraft and trainers, and these limitations have become more visible as the security environment in the West Philippine Sea grows more contested. The KF-21 represents far more than an incremental upgrade. It suggests a step change in how the Philippines could conduct air defense, maritime strike, and joint operations over the next several decades. Yet the question is not simply whether the KF-21 is technologically impressive. It is whether the Philippines has the political will, financial structure, and operational ecosystem to make such an acquisition meaningful. The strategic context driving interest in the KF-21 is clear. The Philippines faces a widening gap between its current air power capabilities and the requirements imposed by regional competition. Chinese Coast Guard, maritime militia, and naval activities have intensified around Second Thomas Shoal, Scarborough Shoal, and other contested features. The tempo of operations, including flights of surveillance aircraft and occasional provocative maneuvers, has increased. The Philippines currently cannot maintain a persistent tactical presence in the air or respond rapidly to fast-changing events at sea. The need for a multi-role fighter capable of long-range patrol, maritime strike, and air superiority is more apparent than at any time in the past 2 decades. The KF-21 offers a compelling package that aligns with many of the Philippines' operational gaps. It carries an advanced active electronically scanned array radar, which enables simultaneous tracking of multiple air and surface targets. Its airframe is optimized for reduced radar signature, which improves survivability in contested environments. The aircraft is designed to carry long-range air-to-air missiles, precision-guided munitions, and potentially anti-ship missiles, giving it flexibility across different mission sets. For a country tasked with monitoring vast maritime areas and responding quickly to incursions, the combination of range, sensor fusion, and weapons payload is a major advantage. But evaluating the KF-21 requires more than a comparison of specifications. The Philippines must consider how this fighter fits within its broader defense strategy and operational priorities. Unlike countries with large budgets and extensive air combat infrastructures, the Philippines must be realistic about the number of aircraft it can sustain and the missions they must perform. Maritime air policing, interception, long-range patrol, and strike deterrence are different roles that require an ecosystem of support assets. Without airborne early warning aircraft, a large fleet of aerial tankers, and extensive ground infrastructure, even an advanced fighter may not reach its full effectiveness. The KF-21 could significantly improve the Philippines' capabilities, but only if Manila invests in the surrounding systems that allow a modern fighter to operate at scale. There is also the issue of comparative alternatives. The United States has long promoted the F-16 Block 70 to Manila, a proven platform with a massive global support network and deep interoperability with American forces. Sweden's Gripen, particularly the Gripen C or E, offers lower operational costs, high uptime, and a reputation for fitting smaller air forces. Each option presents a different balance of cost, availability, political alignment, and long-term sustainability. The KF-21 injects a new variable, a platform that is newer than the F-16, potentially more capable in the long term, and politically more flexible than American systems. South Korea has shown willingness to offer more attractive financing terms and industrial cooperation programs than the United States typically provides, which may appeal to Manila as it weighs long-term costs. Cost is one of the most decisive factors for the Philippines. Purchasing a squadron of advanced fighters requires billions of units of national currency over their life cycle, once training, maintenance, spare parts, fuel consumption, and upgrades are considered. South Korea has signaled a willingness to discuss concessional financing, staggered delivery schedules, and potential maintenance partnerships to reduce the immediate financial burden. This matters because the Philippines cannot afford a high-end platform that becomes a financial strain. Fighters that are too expensive to operate become hangar queens or drain resources from other critical modernization programs. The KF-21's projected operating costs, while not low, are expected to be more manageable than those of American platforms, partly because of South Korea's emphasis on efficient logistics and modular design. The possible industrial relationship between South Korea and the Philippines also deserves attention. Manila has a modest but growing defense industrial base that focuses on shipbuilding, small arms, and certain support systems. Seoul may be willing to include limited transfer of technology, local maintenance capability, or assembly of non-critical components. Such arrangements strengthen political ties while building local capacity. While the Philippines is unlikely to become a major aerospace manufacturing center, participation in a wider support network could help reduce costs and improve long-term sustainability. The regional strategic implications of Manila acquiring the KF-21 would be significant. China would likely see it as a meaningful upgrade to Philippine air power, especially if paired with new radar systems, surveillance aircraft, and long-range missile integration. Combined with American and Japanese support for maritime domain awareness and anti-submarine warfare, the KF-21 would enhance Manila's ability to monitor and respond to activity in contested areas. It could also enable more complex exercises and joint operations with partners, strengthening security cooperation across the Indo-Pacific. Other Southeast Asian nations, including Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, would take note of such a move, as it could influence regional arms dynamics. However, acquiring an advanced fighter like the KF-21 also carries risks. The Philippines must consider whether its Air Force can absorb a new aircraft type without overstretching its training pipeline and maintenance ecosystem. It must assess whether it can afford the long-term costs, including mid-life upgrades and future weapons integration. It must evaluate how such a purchase aligns with its overall defense priorities, including investments in maritime surveillance, coastal defense, cybersecurity, and naval modernization. The KF-21 is not a silver bullet. It is one piece of a much larger puzzle. If Manila decides to move forward with the KF-21, it will need to invest in complementary systems to maximize its value. These include robust ground radar coverage, integrated air and maritime command and control networks, additional pilot training programs, and sustained maintenance infrastructure. More ambitious options, such as airborne early warning aircraft or aerial refueling, would further improve effectiveness. These additions may not be immediately necessary, but they will become increasingly important as the Philippines modernizes. In the end, the KF-21 represents an opportunity for Manila to redefine its air power in a way that aligns with its strategic environment. It offers advanced capabilities, political flexibility, and the potential for strong long-term partnership with South Korea. But like all major acquisitions, it must be approached with a clear understanding of costs, operational demands, and regional consequences. The KF-21 could help the Philippines shift from reactive defense to proactive deterrence, provided that the acquisition is embedded within a broader vision for air and maritime security. Whether the Philippines ultimately selects the KF-21 or another aircraft, the key issue remains the same: the need for a coherent, integrated air power strategy that supports national objectives in an increasingly contested region. The KF-21 could be an important step toward that future, but it will require commitment, planning, and sustained investment to fulfill its potential.